What's up, guys? It's Super Dope Killer here with SDK Streaming. It is April 14th, 2017, and the last of the spoilers have dropped for Amonkhet, and we're going to go over STK's top 10 picks. First things first, we'd like to thank our sponsor for this video, legitmtg.com. Head over to legitmtg.com. They have singles, they have sealed product, they have articles, deck text, anything you need to know about Magic the Gathering. And their big thing is everything over $2 is free shipping. So, you know, if you need one card that's going to cost you $3, you don't have to spend another $20 and stuff that you don't need just to get the free shipping, or pay $11.99 to ship it to you. Anything over $2 ships free over at legitmtg.com. That's legitmtg.com. Coming in at number 10, we have the Fetchable Cycling Dual Lands, and Amonkhet coming in at a rare slot. There's 5 of them. There's nothing like being in mid-late game, needing to draw a card, needing to top deck your bomb, needing to draw some kind of interaction, and you top deck a land. And there's nothing you can do with that land but play it and move on. Now we have the cycling lands that are going to be standard legal, so if you draw that land off the top, you can cycle it to try to draw something else. So I think it's going to add a dynamic to the game that we haven't seen in a while. Cycling is not a new mechanic, it's an older mechanic that used to be in previous sets that's been brought back from Amonkhet. I think it's going to be real good. Anytime you can draw a card and you know, whatever you need to do with it, you can either play it for land early in the game, or if your mana flooding, you're flooding out with your mana, you can discard it, draw another card. And there's also things in previous sets that let you actually go and get all of your land out of your graveyard and put them back on the battlefield. So if you're just cycling your lands and then you play that and you get everything back, you get to draw cards and you get your lands. So I think it's going to work out. Coming at number 9, we have Weaver of Currents. It's a 2/2 for 1 a green and a blue, and it has tap to add 2 colorless to your mana pool. Now you may not think that's really a big deal, and in some cases it's not. But a 2/2 for 3 mana, and you can tap it for 2 colorless mana, it's mana ramp. And in a set where there's not a lot of that, and we still have the big Eldrazi creatures flying around here, we need some mana ramp. So I got that at number 9. Number 8 is the Avin Wind Guide. It's a 2/3 for 2 a white and a blue with flying and vigilance. Creature tokens you control have flying and vigilance. With Embark in the format, this could be huge, because you have your creature dies, you can embark it, it comes back as a token. This says your creature tokens get flying and vigilance. So not only do they not tap when they attack, but they can also fly over just about anything that gets in the way. Coming in at number 7, we have Renewed Faith. It's an instant for 2 and a white. It says you gain 6 life. Gaining life is always great, especially in what looks like it's going to be a faster format. I really think there's going to be a red deck wins in this format. There's going to be some burns, going to be a lot of aggro. So gaining 6 life for 3 mana for control spells and mid-range decks, or control decks and mid-range decks, excuse me, is going to be a big deal. It's going to be a thing that really needs to happen. But it also says that you can cycle it for 1 and a white. You discard the card and you can draw a card. It says when you cycle Renew Faith, you may gain 2 life. So for 1 and a white, you draw a card and gain 2 life. Also, this is an instant speed spell. Therefore, it can be flashed back with Torrential Gearhulk. So you cycle it, you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Then later, you cast Torrential Gearhulk, flash it back, and gain 6 life. So I think it's a real good instant. It's a cheap instant to gain you 6 life in white, which does a lot of life gain. And I think it's going to be real good. I think it'll be really, really good for the format that we're about to be into. Coming in at number 6, we have Samut, Voice of Dissent. He's 3/4 for 3 a red and a green legendary creature. He has Flash, Double Strike, Vigilance, and Haste. I think they just took all the abilities, put them up on the board, and said we're going to pick 4. Other creatures you control have Haste. And for a white, you can tap him and untap another target creature. So you can swing with everything, and then since he has Vigilance, he or she has Vigilance, you can tap it and untap another creature. You probably won't want to run a full play set if you're running red-green or even red-green-white, because he is legendary. And you know you can only have 1 copy of legendary creature on the battlefield at a time. So probably not a full play set in your main 60-card deck. Maybe 3 with 1 on the side if you're playing a control matchup. But this is going to be a good card. This is going to be a real good card that's probably going to affect Standard. I know will affect Commander, because it's a legendary creature. People will build a Commander deck around this. It's going to be crazy in draft or limited. If you draw this, play red green, play red green white, because this is going to be good. With flash, you flash in at the end of their turn, and then your turn, the next creature you play has haste. They swing out. They're looking at an empty board. They swing away, hit you for 7. Into your turn, you flash this guy in, then flash in another creature and swing back for 10. Yeah, this card is going to make a difference. Coming at number 5, we have Nissa, Stewart of Elements. She's a planeswalker. And what's different about this Nissa is Nissa's usually just green. But this Nissa is X, green and blue, which is different. Something we haven't seen before. A lot of people are kind of iffy about it. I like it. I think it's going to be a good thing. But the X, I haven't ever seen a planeswalker with X before in their loyalty counters. If there has been one, you can message me in the comments below and let me know. But I think this is the first one with X as a loyalty counter. And what it is a green and a blue and X. So for any other mana you pay over the green and the blue, Nissa will come in with that many loyalty counters. So for her +2, she can scry 2 cards, which is normally just for Jace or other blue planeswalkers, and since she's blue, she can now scry 2. Her 0 says, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card or a creature card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of loyalty counters on Nissa, you may put that card onto the battlefield. You put the card on the battlefield, not in your hand, onto the battlefield. You're getting to cast a creature card for free as long as the mana cost is less than or equal to the loyalty counters on Nissa. This is really good. This is going to be really, really good, because if you tap out to play Nissa for 5 loyalty counters, and then you 0 Nissa, you could get a creature for free or you get another land. This is going to be really good. I think Nissa is going to be a 4 of in a lot of Bant decks, a lot of green-blue decks. We still have stuff like Tameo is still out there. Lumbering Falls is still out there, the hexproof animated land. I mean, so green-blue is going to be, it's viable. It could happen. And then her ultimate. It says for -6, you untap 2 target lands that you control. They become 5/5 elemental creatures with flying and haste until end of turn. And they're still lands. I don't think you're going to use her ultimate very much unless it's just a last-ditch effort to try to win the game. You won't need to. Her -0 ability can put a creature onto the battlefield, and if nothing else, you get to see what that top card is. If you're playing blue, you're going to have scry spells. You've got draw spells. Anticipate's still in the format. Glimmer of Genius is in the format. You get to look at the top card. If it's not a creature and it's not a land, you get to put it back and your opponent does not get to see it. It doesn't say reveal. It says you look at it. So you see the top card, you know it's not something you need or something you're going to use. At the end of their turn, you can get rid of it. If it's something you do need, you know not to cast that spell to get rid of it. So I think this is going to be a good planeswalker. People aren't giving her the credit that I think she deserves. Coming at number 4, we got Visir, the Menagerie. It's a 3/4 for 3 and a green. It says you may look at the top card of your library. You can do this at any time that you want to. So on your turn, you can look at the top card of your library. You forget what it is, you can look at the top card of your library on their turn. At the end of their turn, you can look at the top card of your library. If they make you shuffle your library, you can look at the top card of your library. You can cast the top card of your library if it's a creature card. You can cast the top card of your library if it's a creature card. It doesn't have to be face up like it was in old standard. You look at it, you put it back down face down, your opponent doesn't know what it is. They look at your hand, maybe they think you don't have anything, but he's sitting right there on top of your library. This is going to be a big creature. This is going to be in most green decks, because then it also says you may spend mana of any type to cast creature spells. Any type, not any color, any type. That's the big deal here. You could cast Thought-Knot Seer and Reality Smasher without having any colorless mana, without having to have waste, because it says you can use it as any type. You could use a forest as a waste to cast your Reality Smasher, and a forest as a waste to cast your Thought-Knot Seer. You don't have to have the colorless mana to cast Thought-Knot Seer or Reality Smasher as long as this is on the battlefield. This is a big deal. This card's going to be real good. Green is going to be very, very powerful in the new standard, I think. Number 3, As Foretold. It's an enchantment for 2 and a blue. It says, at the beginning of your upkeep, you put a time counter on As Foretold. Once each turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost of the spell you cast with converted mana cost X or less, where X is the number of time counters on as foretold. Each turn is the key word in this. Not just on your turn, not on your opponent's turn. Each turn you may cast a spell with converted mana cost X or less. So you end up keep, you put time counter on it. That's one. You play, you pass your turn. On their turn, you can Fatal Push for free. You can play any 1 mana, but you can Shock for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Next turn, you put 2. Anticipate for free. Negate for free. Grasp of Darkness for free. 2 mana creature spells for free. And then on their turn, you can cast another 2 mana spell for free. This works on your turn and it works on their turn. So this is going to be a big deal. It also is going to be a big deal in stuff like Commander, where there's other people's turns. And you have multiple opponents, so that you can cast spells on their turns too. Once each turn, so on every single person's turn you can cast a spell. And then there's stuff like Proliferate, like with the Traxa. So you can get counters on that thing big and then just start playing everything for free. I think it's going to be a real good card in Control, so that your Control, you know, they have to play 27, 28 lands. They just have to sit there and wait because they're afraid they're going to tap out. With this, they're going to be able to play a little bit more freely with what they can, and maybe play a counter spell for free, or a kill spell for free, or a draw spell for free, and then still have mana left over to do what they need to do. I think As Foretold is going to be a real big deal in Standard in Control decks in Standard. At number 2, I put Gideon of the Trials and Liliana Death's Majesty together because I didn't want the 2 Planeswalkers, which are obviously the best Planeswalkers in the set. I didn't want them taking up slots together. So I put them both at number 2 because they're both pretty much just as good. Gideon is a 3-cost Planeswalker, and we all know about those 3-cost Planeswalkers. Liliana the Veil, Liliana Last Hope, now Gideon. 1 white and a white. His +1 says prevent all damage that one target permanent would deal until your next turn. His 0 says Gideon becomes a 4/4 human creature with indestructible and is still a Planeswalker. Prevent all damage dealt to him this turn. So just like any other Gideon, he turns into a creature, indestructible, swings for a big chunk. But then his other -0 says you get an emblem that says as long as you control a Gideon Planeswalker, you can't lose the game and your opponent can't win the game. In other words, for 0, you get an emblem that says as long as you have Gideon, he's a Platinum Angel, which is an angel, a colorless 7-cost angel from an older set that says as long as Platinum Angel's on the battlefield, you can't lose the game, your opponent can't win the game. And this is a big deal. I mean, it's a thing. But there's Ruinous Path out there, there's Anguished Unmaking out there. There's ways to kill Gideon, and you're just left in the dark. So I mean, it's not a lockup, you win the game emblem like most emblems are, but it's still pretty good. And at a 0 to get the emblem, it doesn't affect your Planeswalker at all. So I mean, that's always a good thing. And at 3 mana, you get it out quick. So I think Gideon's going to be good. I don't really know if it's going to be... I don't know if it's going to hold price of the pre-order price that it has right now. But I think Gideon's still going to be a pretty good Planeswalker. Gideon's always a good Planeswalker. And with Ally of Zendikar getting ready to rotate out here soon, the new Gideon is going to take that place real well. And then Liliana, she's 3 in a black and a black. And she says her +1 is create a 2/2 zombie creature. Put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. So the good thing about Nissa, she costs 5 to play, but she protects herself, which is always good with the Planeswalker. Not Nissa, Liliana, I'm sorry. The good thing about Liliana is that she's 5 to cast, but she protects herself. Her +1, create a 2/2 zombie. With Nissa Voice of Zendikar, her +1 was create a 0/1 plant. They protect themselves so that they can grow and get bigger and work up to that ultimate. So you make a 2/2 zombie, put the top 2 cards of your library in your graveyard. This is good in this set because of Embark. Embark doesn't say, they have to die and then you can activate the Embark cost. It says that when they're in the graveyard, you can pay the Embark cost and bring it back to the battlefield. Or put a token on the battlefield of that creature and then exile that creature. At least I think that's how it works. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that it does not have to die, go to your graveyard, and then you embark it. I think if it's in your graveyard, you can embark it. So our -3 says, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. There it goes again, from the graveyard to the battlefield. A lot of times if something's getting returned from the graveyard, it's not getting returned to the battlefield, it's getting returned to your hand. So it's a big deal when a creature goes from the graveyard to the battlefield. You don't have to cast it, you don't have to waste mana. It's just -3 loyalty, boom, it's back on the battlefield. That creature is a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. So now all of a sudden you got another zombie on the battlefield. And there's a lot of stuff in this set that interacts with zombies. Zombies get +1/+1. Things happen with the zombies when zombies come into play. The fact that it becomes a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Liliana would be good in things like Commander, where you have a lot of artifacts that give things Intimidate and protection from these colors and protection from those colors, and destroy all non-black creatures, things like that. So Liliana's going to be good in a lot of formats. Liliana's -7, destroy all non-zombie creatures. You don't have to be playing a mono black deck with Amonkhet to have all non-zombie creatures, or just to have all zombie creatures. With Embalm, not Embark. With Embalm, they become back as zombies. So when you have all these tokens on the battlefield that have come back from creatures that have died as zombies, and then you ultimate your Liliana, they don't die because they're zombie creatures. So Liliana's going to be good. Now at 5 casting cost, she's a little bit expensive. But she, like I said, she can protect herself in the mid game, and then she can also bring creatures back from the graveyard that have died. And then, of course, she wipes the board. So I think she's going to be good. If she didn't cost 5, I think she'd be a lot better. If she cost 4, she'd be insane. But at 5, I think she's okay. And then my #1 card in Amonkhet. Now these cards are just my list. This is not anybody else's opinion. This is my own. You may agree, you may disagree, and that's fine. But my #1 card coming out of Amonkhet is Harsh Mentor. A 2/2 for 1 and a red. It says, whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact, creature, or land on the battlefield, if it isn't a mana ability, Harsh Mentor deals 2 damage to that creature. 2 damage to that creature for activating an ability of an artifact, a creature, or a land. 2 costs. This thing is going to go crazy in Modern. This thing will wreck Mardu vehicles. Ain't that? I mean, you want to crew something? Fine, take 2. Modern, you want to fetch? Fine, you'll take at least 3. 1 for the fetch, 2 for this. You want to sack that Evolving Wilds? Fine, you'll take 2. You want to displace something with an Eldrazi Displacer? Fine, you'll take 2. It's gonna be crazy. This card is super, super powerful. For a 1 and a red, a 2/2, get it out on turn 2. This is gonna be in burn decks in Modern. This with Eidolon of the Great Rebel is gonna be insane in Modern. Because fetch lands are everywhere in Modern. It'll ruin Affinity. My #1 card for Amonkhet is the Harsh Mentor, because I like to play burn, but this card, any red deck, play 4 of these. Play 4 of these, especially if you're playing Modern. Play 4 of these, because this thing is going to be crazy. It's gonna do a lot of good. it's gonna tear some stuff up. So that's my top 10 cards for Amonkhet. I hope you liked. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment, subscribe, follow, share, catch me on Twitter. Also check out our new sponsor, legitmtg.com. You can head over there. You'll be able to see this video over there. There's Magic with Zubias over there. There's podcasts, there's articles. You can buy sealed product, you can buy singles, and everything over $2 ships free at legitmtg.com. So go over there and check that out. Thanks guys, hope you have a good weekend, and get ready for pre-release next week.